matter. I mean, he's exposing them, in his own way and, doing his part. Page 62, I think you've seen this several times on the video. And I hope you watch this video or show it to people maybe. I don't know. Maybe you might want to do it on high speed because, it's probably boring, to some people. But on page 62, I talked to you about running out of chemical, or they shut them down to make their turns and come back, especially if they're hitting a city or a certain population. So on page 62, 60 and 61 said it was contrails. Well, when these fools try to convince you that this is contrail, a contrail cannot be turned off. If it's water vapor, it's water vapor. You can't turn it off and on. Well, you get to see these jets here turn it off and on. They are in control. This picture shows off and on, off and on. And most likely this guy ran out of chemical, and it's time to go refill. So, pictures, whoops, there's those bare feet again. Beautiful sunshiny day for, what I had of it. There's still heat coming through that mess. But page 64, this is the scary part. Starting on page 64 is the best information of this book. It's scary information. Is it true? I'm going to leave it up to you to discover. Starting on page 64, there's a man that published publicly a lot of letters. I read the letters, and I just put a bunch of them together, and I turned them into chapters. At first, I left his name, and I don't even know if the name given was a true name or not. I don't know the person or who did it, and so I just erased the name. I put X's in place of the guy's name. But anyway, starting on page 64, it gets scary now. You're going to have stories given by a man that basically is taking some of the responsibility for the damage to the human race, to the animals, to the plants, to the trees, to the ocean, to the whole surface of the earth, because he's gonna give you a story of how, under his advice, the world decided to add certain chemicals to these chemtrails. So he's going to be telling you about titanium dioxide, and much of this book is going to be into the discovery of titanium dioxide. Very scary subject. I don't pretend to know a lot about these chemicals, but I did my own little study, and I hope that it encourages you to do your own study. Keep an eye on my sky, and man, it's getting a mess. It is just all checkerboarded and chemtrailed, and these guys. If you watch this 2 hours of film and just imagine the miles that these jets do in a 24-hour period, it's got to be thousands and thousands of miles. Or 1,000 miles an hour. I don't know how fast these guys are flying, but you know what it costs to keep a jet in the air, and then besides that, the cost of these chemicals from pharmaceutical companies. You know what it costs for a shot, and here you just got tons of liquid. It's just like we're getting vaccinated from the air is exactly what this is. Anyway, page 66, letter 1. I'm just going to do it chapter by chapter, letter by letter. And this guy is going to explain to you what you're seeing here on TV. How true is it? Only you can make up your own mind. You're going to hear all about the HAARP project, HAARP. Uncle Sam used to deny the Heart Project. Well, now you can look it up yourself. It's totally open. Much of what was private 10 years ago, wasn't your right to know. Now the government figures enough people knows, or it's been out so many years, so even they admit to it. So you're gonna read about a lot of things here. Uh, I'm not going to talk a lot about this guy's letters. It's there's just so much of it. The titanium. Titanium changed my life. I look at anything I eat now commercially. It's got a label. You got to look for titanium dioxide, EDTA, different chemicals. The Dr. Clark books tell you about the different all the different chemicals that's used for alcohol. All the different types of alcohol, chemical names. You see them in the commercial foods also. And then you look what this guy has to say. It's just overwhelming. And so anyway, I hope you read these letters over and over and over. They may be depressing. You may be shocked for a while. You may not believe them. But anyway, just see what the guy has to say. I think he's talking from his heart. I don't know. I don't know the guy. And it may not even be a guy. I don't know. I don't know who this person is. But when you read his information after looking at these things for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, his information makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to spend the last half of this book trying to prove what this guy had to say. So, and you can look at what I came up with, and then hopefully you'll look on your own. If you check out my son now, I'm looking up to my son. I'm out on the pond. I got my shoes off and my getting some rays, and just look at my sky. It is just nothing but an absolute mess. These guys are not only filtering my sun, they are getting ready to change the weather. And it's going to snow or rain tomorrow. It's guaranteed. When these guys come in and do this type of damage and many times it's on a daily or weekly basis, or just look to your newspapers, and when they say it's going to rain, you can see these guys coming. So as you flip through your book here, there's 8, 9, 10, 11 letters here. There's quite a few. And on page 136, he talks about the plagues a little bit. And when you look at this, his original idea, I think he was trying to curve, the HIV plague, and I think this has to do with West Nile virus, all the diseases that are out now. I think much of it has to do with this, and I think this guy's basically going to tell you that things have gotten out of control, and he was part of it, and he's telling the world to stop, and the world says no. This is just the greatest population control experiment that is just making the pharmaceutical companies, so many billions of dollars producing all these chemicals, and the people that are sucking up all the tax money and all the wealth in the world, to them,